What's up, guys? It's Alex here, and welcome to the first Bracketology update of 2019. I am so excited because this means basically the start of the college basketball season for a lot of fans, a lot of the casual fans. I haven't been paying attention for the last couple months, but if this is your first Bracketology video of the year, welcome to my channel. Hopefully you like the video and subscribe for more Bracketology updates. I'll be putting them out whenever Joe Lunardi releases his. This one is for January 4th, which is when the video's coming out. The number one seeds as of right now are Duke, Kansas, Nevada, and Michigan. Nevada just took the number one spot from Virginia, I believe. And there's a couple big movements right here. We have Purdue up to a 7 seed, Louisville falling to an 8 seed, Florida State up to a 3 seed, Seton Hall is up to an 8, and Iowa's down to a 9. Kentucky is up to a 4, Houston's up to a 5, Arizona State's down to a 10 after losing at home to Princeton, 1 week after beating number 1 Kansas at home. So I just don't know what to make of that team. One interesting matchup that I think is going to be, I think Joe Lunardi had fun predicting right here, is Buffalo and Arizona. They faced off in the tournament last year. I think Arizona was a 4 seed and Buffalo was a 13 seed. Buffalo upset Arizona. I'm wondering if Arizona can pay back or give back the favor and upset Buffalo there. We'll see what happens with my Bracketology predictions. And just for a quick update on the bubble, I know I haven't done it in a couple of videos. The last 4 byes are just a bit safe are Maryland, UCF, Arizona State, and Minnesota. The last 4 in the first 4 playoff games, Texas and Syracuse, and then Kansas State and Clemson. First 4 out are Butler, who just got mauled by Florida, Ole Miss, Washington, and Utah State. And then the next 4 out are Alabama, VCU, Temple, and Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt would be a tournament team right now if they still had Darius Garland, but he's out for the season with an injury. Oregon just lost Bo for the season, so I doubt they'll be making the tournament. Joe Lunardi doesn't even have them on the bubble right now. So sucks if you're an Oregon fan. I apologize for that, but without any further ado, let's get into this Bracketology update. As you guys can see, Brackify is still up and running. I thought they were supposed to end on December 31st. I mean, that's what the site said, but I mean, I was still able to go in, make this bracket, go ahead and vote on it. So, I mean, until the site actually goes down, I guess we'll keep doing it. And so I have a couple of people who have been making, trying to get some bracket sites up and running in the background, so thank you for that. I don't know if we'll need them, but I mean, if they can get it up and running, I'll test it out and see if it's better than Brackify. And if Brackify is down, I'll be going to that. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and go into the picks. Number 1, Duke. They're definitely going to beat Rider. Seton Hall, I think, will beat Iowa. I actually have an upset pick here. I have Murray State moving on past Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State's going to be really good this year, but I just don't like the matchup here against Murray State. Then Ohio State will beat Georgia State. A lot of states right here. Speaking of states, NC State is going to beat the winner of Syracuse and Texas, which I think would be Syracuse. Oklahoma is going to beat UC Irvine. Purdue will beat Taco Fall and UCF. Tennessee will beat Abilene Christian. Nevada will beat Purdue Fort Wayne. I think that Louisville gets the win here against LSU. I think Louisville is a bit underrated. They played a really tough schedule so far, and they still got a really tough one to go in the ACC, and they're ahead of schedule in the rebuild. But I got Louisville winning their first tournament game in a while. Then Indiana's going to beat Wofford. Texas Tech will beat Yale. I think Marquette's going to beat San Francisco, who's making it in as an at-large. Congratulations to the Dons there. Then Florida State will beat Radford. Villanova will beat Arizona State. As I said earlier, I just don't know what to make of Arizona State. I mean, Villanova is having a down year themselves. They were projected to be a top 10 team, maybe even a top 5 team, and right now they're looking at a 7 seed. Then Michigan will beat Holy Cross. Kansas will beat the winner of Detroit Mercy and Texas Southern, which I think will be Texas Southern. Texas Southern has actually beaten Oregon and Texas A&M this year, so, I mean, I don't know why they're in a playing game to get in the tournament. I think they should be like a 15 or 14 seed. Then Florida will beat Creighton. Florida just absolutely mauled Butler, as I mentioned earlier. Then I have another upset pick here. I like Lipscomb going over Wisconsin. I know last video I had Wisconsin moving on pretty far, but they've just fallen apart over the last week or so. They lost to Western Kentucky, and then they just lost to Minnesota. I like Lipscomb moving on here. They've been given a lot of big-name teams run for their money. I know they went to Louisville and only lost by 4, and they've been playing a lot of other teams really close. Then Virginia Tech's going to beat Hofstra. I think the winner of Clemson and Kansas State will beat Nebraska. I don't know. Nebraska just lost to Maryland on the, I don't remember if it was a buzzer beater or not. I know it was a very close game at the end. I just don't know enough about Nebraska right now. I really got to start watching Big Ten play once that gets up and running. I like Clemson beating Kansas State and then beating Nebraska out there. And then Auburn's going to beat Montana. Minnesota's going to upset Cincinnati. I know this is like my upset region. Then Virginia's going to beat George Mason. Michigan's going to beat the winner of Norfolk State and Wagner, which I have no idea about anything about those two teams. So I'm just going to pick Michigan there. Then St. John's, I think, will beat Iowa State. The two Iowa teams are not going to be moving on to the weekend games. And Houston's going to beat North Texas. I know North Texas is only there, Joe already mentioned, because they're like 1-0 in conference play, and most of the Conference USA teams haven't played a conference game yet. So I figure that'll probably either be Old Dominion or Western Kentucky by the end of the tournament. But either way, I like Houston moving on right now. Then Kentucky's up to a 4 seed after absolutely turning around their program, or turning around their outlook. Once Quade Green transferred, they beat North Carolina on a neutral site and then dominated Louisville at Louisville. I think they're looking like the team most people were projecting them to be in the preseason. So we got Kentucky moving on there. And then here we go, Buffalo and Arizona. I can't pick Arizona to get the upset here. I know a lot of people would. I think Buffalo beats them 2 years in a row and proves to be their Achilles heel. North Carolina's going to beat Vermont. I think Maryland gets the upset here against TCU. I think TCU is still undefeated. I'm not 100% sure about that. And Gonzaga will beat Grand Canyon. So first spot in the Sweet 16, Duke and Seton Hall. Obviously, we're going to have Duke moving on. Then I like Murray State beating Ohio State and moving on to the Sweet 16 there. Same with NC State. I can't get behind Oklahoma this season. I just don't know why. They're just not too impressive as a team to me, even though they're projected to be a 3 seed. I mean, I'll figure out more about them in the Big 12 conference play. Same with a lot of these teams. Then Tennessee's going to beat Purdue. Nevada's going to beat Louisville. Indiana with Romeo Langford's going to beat Texas Tech. Florida State's going to beat Marquette. Michigan State's going to beat Villanova. Kansas will beat Florida. Virginia Tech's going to beat Lipscomb. I think Auburn will beat Clemson there. And then Virginia's going to beat Minnesota. Then we have Michigan beating St. John's. Kentucky beating Houston. North Carolina beating Buffalo. I know I'm going with a lot of chalk here. And then Gonzaga beating Maryland. So then first spot in the Elite Eight, Duke and Murray State. Obviously, I think Duke's going to win that matchup. Then Tennessee's going to beat NC State. Nevada, with their experience, is just going to overwhelm Indiana. And then I like Michigan State moving on here. Their only loss so far was to Louisville, and I just don't know what happened there. That was a really close game there at the end. It went to overtime. Kansas will beat Virginia Tech. I like Auburn here pulling off the upset against Virginia. Virginia has not been a tournament team in recent times, especially with Tony Bennett at the helm. And Auburn's been really good this season. I think they'll prove it in the SEC play. I think Auburn moves on there. Then Michigan and Kentucky. As much as I want to pick Kentucky moving on, because I'm a huge Big Blue Nation fan, I don't know which team is going to show up in the tournament. Will it be this new and improved team that is a national title contender if they play like they have been the last couple weeks? Or is it the team that was basically all of November and the first part of December that scares people and loses to Seton Hall and Duke by 34? Either way, I like Michigan moving on right now. Then North Carolina and Gonzaga, these two teams played earlier in the season and North Carolina won. So, I mean, might as well go with North Carolina based off of history. Then Duke and Tennessee, first spot in the Final Four. I like Duke there. Then Nevada and Michigan State. I think we're going to have another number 1 seed in the Final Four. Nevada with the Martin twins and all their experience and positionless basketball. I think they're going to meet Michigan State. Kansas and Auburn. I got to go with Kansas moving on there. I think they're a better team than Auburn. Then Michigan and North Carolina. I'm going to go with North Carolina. I know they haven't really been shown a whole lot this season, but I can't put 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four. It rarely ever happens. I like North Carolina moving on there, though Michigan, I think, has one of the best resumes, as I've been saying in the most recent bracketologies that I've been doing. I think they have the best resume in the nation as of right now, but I like North Carolina moving on there. So Duke and Nevada. I'm actually going to go with an upset pick here. I'm going to go with Nevada. I think they go undefeated in the regular season. I think they upset Duke here. Their experience are just going to give Duke too much troubles. I'm going to go with, it's basically an upset pick. I mean, betting against Duke not even making the championship game. Then Kansas and North Carolina. I think Kansas moves on there. Nevada and Kansas in the national championship game. As much as I want to pick Nevada based off of how I've been talking them up this video, I like Kansas winning it all once Azubike comes back, if that's how you say his name. So I like Kansas winning it all. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave your reactions and predictions in the comments section below. I know I've probably made a couple picks that made some people mad based off of their favorite teams and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know where your team is in the bracketology, if they're in the tournament, if they're on the bubble, if the season's not going the way you guys are planning. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all later.